How are you doing today, my friends? So, there's a lot happening in Washington right now, and it's affecting millions of Americans. So, let's talk about what's going on, because the White House just made a pretty serious announcement about possible layoffs if the ongoing government shutdown talks don't make progress. Yeah, layoffs. And this could happen very soon if things keep heading in the same direction. So, here's the situation. The US government is still in a partial shutdown. It's been days since funding ran out at the start of the new fiscal year, and despite all the meetings, speeches, and late-night sessions, no deal has been reached. Both parties are blaming each other, and now the White House is raising the stakes. They're warning that if negotiations continue to go nowhere, the administration is prepared to start letting federal workers go. Imagine that. Hundreds of thousands of federal employees who've already been stressed out during this shutdown might soon face layoffs. White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett said in an interview that while the administration hopes to reach an agreement, they're lining things up for layoffs just in case. And when reporters asked President Trump if layoffs were already happening, he said, "It's taking place right now." That's a bold statement, and it sent shockwaves through federal agencies and workers who've already been dealing with uncertainty for days. Now, that's where things start to get a bit tense. Many are seeing this as a way for the administration to put pressure on Democrats. It's like saying, if you don't cooperate, we'll start cutting jobs. And that raises a really important question. Should ordinary workers be caught in the middle of political standoffs? I mean, think about it. These people are the backbone of government operations, from national parks and airports to data systems and emergency programs. What happens when the people running all that suddenly lose their jobs or stop getting paid? Meanwhile, Democrats in Congress are standing firm on their demands. They're saying any funding deal to reopen the government must include protections for health care, especially the extended premium tax credits under the Affordable Care Act. They're also pushing for guarantees that the White House won't unilaterally cut previously approved spending once a deal is made. In other words, they want safeguards so the administration can't just reverse or defund certain programs later on. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer has criticized the White House's hardball tactics, saying Democrats are open to compromise, but not if it means stripping away health protections or public investments. So we're at this frustrating crossroads where both sides are blaming each other, and federal employees are the ones paying the price. Now, here's where it gets even trickier. The Senate has already tried multiple times to vote on temporary funding bills. Both the House-passed stopgap measure and a Democratic alternative have failed to get through. The Senate needs 60 votes to move forward, but Republicans only hold 53 seats, and one Republican has already broken ranks. That means they'd need at least 8 Democrats to cross over, which just isn't happening. So far, only 3 Democrats have supported the Republican plan, and that's not enough to end the stalemate. Republican leaders like Senator John Thune have been blunt about it. He said, "It's open up the government or else." But that "or else" now sounds a lot more serious when layoffs are on the table. If no agreement is reached soon, the White House might actually start cutting jobs, not just furloughing people but laying them off completely. That's not just a temporary inconvenience. That's people losing their income, their health care, and their stability, all while the political blame game drags on. And that brings us to the big question. Who do you think the public will blame if this continues? Will people see it as Trump taking decisive action to force Democrats to the table, or as him using American workers as leverage? Or will Democrats be seen as stalling too much by refusing to give ground? It's such a complicated dynamic, and public opinion could easily shift depending on how painful this shutdown becomes for ordinary citizens. Now, beyond politics, let's talk about the real-world impact. If layoffs start, we're looking at disruptions across nearly every corner of government. Federal parks could close indefinitely, licensing and permits could be delayed, disaster relief programs might slow down, and military and security agencies could start cutting back on civilian staff. It's not just about the numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about people not being able to pay rent, buy groceries, or keep their families afloat. And the longer this goes on, the bigger the ripple effect will be throughout the economy. So what happens next? There are a few possible outcomes. 1. Both sides finally reach a deal at the last minute. maybe through a compromise on healthcare funding or budget levels, and things start to return to normal. 2. They pass a short-term fix, just to buy a few more weeks before the same fight starts again. Or 3. Things fall apart completely, layoffs go forward, and the crisis deepens, forcing public pressure to decide who blinks first. And honestly, that last scenario feels more possible by the day. Everyone in Washington is talking about leverage and power, but not enough people are talking about the human cost of political gridlock. How many families have to lose their paychecks before something changes? So let me ask you, if you were in charge, how would you handle it? Would you draw a hard line to protect your priorities? Or would you compromise just to keep the government running? Because at the end of the day, politics might be about principles, but governance is about people, and right now, millions of those people are stuck waiting for someone to do the right thing. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. If you found this breakdown helpful, or if it made you think about the bigger picture, don't forget to give the video a like. It really helps the channel grow. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think about how this standoff is being handled. And of course, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update as this story develops. Stay informed, stay kind, and I'll see you in the next one.